Okay, so we are going to start our session with the very first topic I told you yesterday, that is pattern printing. Okay, so the very first question that may arise in all of your heads, like why patterns are so much important that we have to learn this as a separate topic in our course. Basically, patterns help you to develop your logic. It always helps you to develop good logics, and whenever you see a pattern, you will get to know what kind of logic I have to apply and you will quickly code it up. And this also help you in certain kind of interviews where even if you don't say I don't know DSA, if you say this, they'll ask you, do you know any kind of programming language? And you'll say yes. And then also they will ask you the pattern questions because patterns are very basic and interviewer expect you that you at least know this basic topic of your language, of the language of your choice. Okay. Even if you have heard about the name like TCS Code Vita, in that exam also there comes questions based on patterns. So yes, it is all based on your practice, that how much pattern you have solved uh, as far as now, so that you will be able to come up with the logic for the current pattern you have been facing right now. Got it? You all can reply on the chats, and if I'll feel the need to unmute yourself, I'll give you the permission for that as well. Okay, so you all can reply on the chat. So did you got the importance of the patterns? Guys, I'm just getting very few responses. I just got one response as of now. Two. Are you all not active? Okay, fine. So let's begin our session with the patterns and print a very basic pattern of printing stars on a single row. Okay, you have been given n equals to 5 and you need to print the number of stars equals to n. Okay, so can you tell me once again? Yes, I can. Patterns is basically important to help you develop the logic. Likewise, you can see this pattern. You saw this pattern, you thought of some kind of logic, you framed the logic and you code it up, and that is where your logic building skills come up. You think of that particular question and then only you can code it up. Okay. This help you in your interviews because this is the very basic topic and interviewers expect that you know this topic. And even in the exams like TCS Code Vita, you may face these kind of questions like the questions based on patterns. I won't say the very basic questions, but yes, you definitely face the questions based on patterns in this exam. Arpit, is it okay? Okay, guys, so I was saying you need to print this particular pattern, number of stars on a single line. So, since it is very basic, I expect you all to tell me the code yourself. You can write it on the Zoom chat as it is very few lines of code and you can write it up as quick as possible. So, guys, are you writing it? At least reply with a yes or no so that I may know you are doing it or not. Okay, for I equals to 0, I less than equals to 5, I plus plus. Okay. Abhishek Anand replied. Tejab has replied, but Tejab, you have only written you should you like we can use the for loop, but where are the
Yeah,
conditions?
I writing.
Yeah, okay. Sujit Kumar has also replied. Okay, so fine. Basically, everyone has written the code like a for loop where they started I equals to 1, I less than equals to 5, I plus plus, and they just printed a SOP. That's great. And the people who are facing the problem writing this code even can raise your hand so that I can know whether you guys are able to get this simple pattern or not. Guys, quickly raise your hands. You have been provided the option, right? Okay. Any other person who didn't got this program also? Just raise your hands and I'll know. No need to worry whether you are not knowing it or not.
Hi, ma'am. Actually, today is my first class, so I want know to understand what topic we will cover here, and it is the Java programming level or CV.
Actually, Sitanshu, yesterday we had a session based on the basics, like the topics we are going to cover. It is on the YouTube, so you can go, you can visit there and you can see the structure of the course. As of now, you can continue the session and learn patterns for today. Is it okay?
Yeah, it is okay. But yesterday, I think I opened that URL link what is there to me on YouTube, but it is not opening anything, and there it's not showing any content. I think
Uh,
so
uh,
any
it,
PDF file is there, so it is good for us.
a PDF file regarding, yeah, I'll share the document as well. No worries. I'll share it today at the end of the session so you all can access it. Okay?
Yeah, it is good for us.
Yeah.
But
Thank
I
you.
have a query. Myself here, my name is Girinath. Okay, I have a
Yeah.
query for you. Okay,
Yeah, Girinath.
using which language we are discussing on data
Java.
structure?
Java.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi Srishti, good morning. This is
Yeah.
Abhisach.
Good morning, Sabyasachi.
I joined lately actually, sorry.
No worries.
So
Guys,
what,
well,
so what topic is going on?
you can see I have mentioned here patterns, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the something code you have written, I think, for loop. Right?
No worries. I'm going to explain it once again because there are people who didn't got it. So no worries. Okay, guys. So let's repeat it. It will be better for you all. Okay, so the persons who didn't got it at all, let me ask you one thing. If you have been given n equals to 5, okay, and you need to print 5 stars, then what would you have done? Simply, if you have seen this statement, what you have done, you have written, you have just printed 5 stars on a single row, correct? This was the very simple thing you would have done if n was known to you, right or wrong? Just tell me on the Zoom chat and be quick because we need to discuss many more patterns as well. The persons who didn't got the code of for loop, I am asking to them. Bodhul Kumar Yadav, did you got it? That if you have been given n equals to 5, you need to simply write this particular statement. Got it? Bodhul Kumar, are you there? Okay, fine. Guys, if you're asking the doubts, you should be active as well. Okay, so fine. If you are not there, let's discuss further. But the point is, it is a very hard coded code, correct? Because you know n is equals to 5 and that's why you printed 5 stars. But what if your input is constrained to the user? User may enter any kind of input. It may enter 10, it may enter 11, it may enter 12. So at that particular instance of time, you won't be knowing that how many stars you need to print, correct? And for that purpose, what we can do, we need to print stars again and again. And when we need to print the same stuff again and again, we generally loop. If you know the basics of Java, you must be aware that for loop is used to print the things that is being printed again and again, right? So you can just simply start from 1 because at least 1 star you need to print. You can go till I less than equals to n, whatever value of I may be. And then simply I plus plus. Okay. And at last you write SOP, that is system.out.print star, and your for loop closes. Okay. What it does is, let's trace it out. Initially was I, your I was equals to 1. Okay. It checked the condition. Let's suppose n's value is 5 here. 5. So 1 is less than 5. Right or wrong? Quickly reply. Guys, are you listening me or not? Am I not audible? Yeah, right. So you just printed a star, correct? Then it saw the closing of the for loop. It went back. It saw I plus plus. It incremented I to 2 and checked if 2 is less than equals to 5 or not. Yes, it is. So again, it printed another star. Since I have done here is SOP system.out.print. So it is not changing the line. It is printing the stars on the same line. Okay. Then the process is repeated 5 times and you get your output. Now, is it okay with everyone? Did everyone got it? Okay, so I'm assuming that every one of you must have got it, what I was discussing. Now, I want you all to print a different pattern. Like you have been given n equals to 3, okay? And you need to print a pattern like this. Okay? Previously, you printed it just on a single row, but now you need to print it on a multiple rows. Okay, so now tell me how will you do it? You already know how to print it on a one line. So how will you print these 3 lines? Tell me that. Any idea? Anyone can reply. I'll see it if you know it or not. We apply nested for loop. I can use IJ. Okay. Anyone else? I want the reply from all. You all just can't assume that 2 or 3 people are replying in 2 variables I and J. Okay. Uh, let's not assume that we are using the nested for loop. Let's assume it from the very basic, okay? Like you wrote the code int I equals to 1, I less than equals to, let's say n, I plus plus, okay? You just printed here SOP stars, okay? And you closed it. Using this, you printed a single line of code, okay? Here, let's assume that your n was 3. Did you got till now? This is only the previous code that we were discussing. Now you need to do this process 3 times. Okay? So what you need to do is you will simply write this for loop again for the next line, and then for printing the third line also you will write the same code again. Correct? Let me write it for you to get the better understanding. Okay, guys, so I have written the code. Now tell me, is it correct or not? I want you all to validate it that whether from the given code I will get this output or not. Are you getting my question? Yeah. So let's trace it out. Okay, just reply. It is hard coded. Kumar is correct. Line of code is more. I'm just asking you all to validate it first that whether it will even give this output or not. It will give. No, Kumar is saying no. Bodal is saying yes. Sabisachi is saying yes. Sham is saying no. Okay, so the people saying no, why won't it work? After loop, we need to go to the next line. Yeah, correct. Because if we haven't changed the line or we haven't applied SOPL in here, your output will look like this. 3 stars, again from the next for loop, 3 stars, and then again from the next for loop, 3 stars. And your code will be like this. And you won't even understand what happened because this is very simple line of code that you just missed. And at that particular instance, you won't even remember it. Okay. So sometimes in an interview, you may get a question like this also. Like you have been given a code, you have been given the output, and interviewer asks you to validate it, whether it is correct or not. Got it? So I wanted to just see who all observed it or not. So yeah, there will be an SOPL in line after all the for loops. Okay, writing it at the last is your choice, but yeah, you can also keep it. Got the code? So as few people pointed out that it is a hard-coded code, correct? We knew here that we need to print 3 lines, so I just wrote the for loop for 3 lines. But what if you need to print almost 1,000 lines or you need to print almost 10,000 lines? Will you write the for loop and this condition for 10,000 times manually? It is going to be a bit hectic job for you all, and computer is meant for optimizations only, right? So to prevent it, and we can see also like we are again and again writing the same piece of code. So why not just keep it inside a loop? Okay. So here it goes. Okay, so people saying that we can apply the nested for loop. Okay, then help me out with the code and tell me what should be the conditions here. I will start from 1 up to when it will go. Seeing this output, you can tell me. N, any other? Yeah. So they are saying N should be here and I plus plus. Then what should I write inside this for loop? Inside this for loop, I should write number of rows. Tejab, what are you saying? Okay, inside this for loop, we should write the code. We should take another variable. Let's take it here, j only. We'll start it from 1 and up to when we will go. Up to when we should go, n, j plus plus. And simply you should write here the SOP statement, print the star, and that's it. Okay. And after, once your line is printed, like this, the star is printed, let's assume you need to change the line. So you should print or you should write here SOPLN statement and then close your loop. Everyone got it? Or is there any need to trace this code out for you all? Got it? Okay, people who didn't got it, just tell me so that I'll trace it out. Raise your hands, it will be better for me. Sai Prasad. Sai Prasad, you want me to trace it out? Can you make sure? Okay, Kumar. As of now, I can't do it, but from tomorrow, I'll try to use different platforms so that you can compare the approaches as well. Sai Prasad, I'm asking you. Okay, fine. He's not replying. I think he's not there. So, right, I think you all got the code. So let's proceed to the next. I is row and J is column. Yeah, you can assume it because as you can see in on our output screen, the output is getting it starts printing from in a horizontal manner, right? First this row is printed, then this, and this, then this. So we always assume that our first column, that first for loop we have used is for the rows, and the next for loop we have used is for the columns. As of now, if you want to see, you can observe the connection between the number of rows and number of columns. It is that on each row, number of elements printed are equals to n. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to observe it row wise and see how many elements are printed or how many columns are there in that particular row. Okay, yeah, we are going to do different patterns. Guys, is my voice okay or I should speak a bit louder? Okay, 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 thank you. Okay, so the next pattern I want you to observe is this one. It is a right angle triangle, as you all can see. N is equals to 5 here. And I want you to first observe the things that we discussed in the previous question. Okay, like the number of rows, the number of columns. Okay, so tell me the number of rows here. It is 5. You can number them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for the columns, it is also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is number of columns. Okay. Now, before printing, you should observe that what is the connection between the element printed and the number of row it is present in. Okay. The column number is 1. The column number, oh, sorry, the row number is 1. So the number of element printed in it is also 1. The row number is 2 and the number of elements printed are also 2. Number of row is equals to 3 and elements printed are also equals to 3. It goes same with the next 4 and 5. Okay. So on the previous question, you have seen that number of elements were equals to n. And here the number of elements are equals to number of rows. That is, what should I just change in the above code so to get the output? J loop. What should I change? That is what my question is. A very simple condition. See, okay, one student told me to Tejab, watch your code. It is not correct. Kumar wrote the whole code. Bodhil also written it. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so let me write it for better understanding. Again, our row will start from I equals to 1. It will go till up to when it will go? N. Then we'll start with our next loop. It will start from 1 only and up to when it will go. How many elements are printed in each row? I, correct? So it will go till I and J plus plus. SOP star, closed, SOPLN, and it is also closed. So people who got it very well, great. But let me trace it out for the better understanding of the code. So let's start. Let's assume our I is equals to, I is initialized to 1, j is also initialized to 1. Okay. So it checked and our n is equals to 5. So it checked if 1 is less than 5. Yes, it is. So it entered this. Then j is equals to 1 and j is less than equals to I. What is the value of I here? It is 1. So obviously 1 is not less than 1, but 1 is equal to 1. Correct? This condition is true. So it enters the loop and it prints a star. Okay. Then again it goes back. It increments j. J's value becomes 2 now. It is 2. Obviously 2 is not less than or equals to 1. So it exits the loop. It comes here and it changes the line since it observes that it is a SOPLN statement and it goes to the next line. Then for loop is closed. It again goes back to the updation I++. I value now became 2. Okay. 2 is less than equals to 5. Yes, it is. So now it will enter the loop and it will say see that j is equals to 1. I value is 2 and j's value is 1. 1 is less than 2. Correct. So it will enter the loop and it will print the star. Again, it goes back to the updation. J value becomes now 2. 2 is equal to 2. Enters the condition or enters the for loop and print another star. Okay. Again, it goes back, updates it. J value becomes 3. Now 3 is not less than or equals to 2. So now it exits the loop. Again changes a line and now goes back, update I. I now becomes 3. Okay, so you got the tracing part. It will print 3 stars then 4, then 5. I hope you all are clear with what I wanted to tell you. Is it okay? Yeah, that's great. So now the next question is, what if we start I and j from 0? Harsh, you can start I and j from 0 as well. Just you need to change the condition here. I less than n and j less than I. Is it okay? For better understanding of you all, I just took it as 1. You can also consider it as 0 as well. Okay. So the next pattern is, we need to check that number of rows and number of columns. We need to see the connection between number of rows and number of columns. As we saw here, that number of columns were equal to number of rows on each line. Only started from 1. Yeah. You got, Sabyasachi, what you were asking? You got your point? Next it starts, how to know column and row. Okay, I'll tell you here. How to know row and column, it entirely depends on your output. Okay, you have been given this as an input and you have been given this as an output. You will observe how many number of horizontal lines are there in this pattern. How many horizontal lines are there in this pattern? 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So your number of rows becomes equals to 4. Next, for number of columns, you see how many vertical lines are there. So this is the first vertical line, second, third, and fourth. Okay. So how many number of columns are there? It is obviously equals to 4. So Suthin, did you got it? What question you were asking? Yeah. So now here, what you need to print this pattern, as I mentioned. But here there is slight change from the above pattern. You need to print the spaces as well. Okay. And as you can observe, both the codes, let me make the previous one here. Your previous pattern was something like this. So this is the mirror image of your previous pattern, right? Nothing is changed in spite of these spaces. These spaces are the additional one, correct? So now you need to figure out the logic in which way you can print this particular pattern. Can you all help me to do this particular problem as well? Okay, so far, as you can see, we don't just need to print the star, we need to print the spaces. So tell me the connection between the number of spaces that printed here and the number of rows. Getting my question? Guys, don't just go on the looping statements that we need to put this loop, that loop. No. What question I'm asking, just answer it. Connection between number of spaces and number of rows. Is there any connection between them? Yeah, tell me that. On first row, n minus 1 space, j equals to n minus 1, decreasing, increasing with number of rows. Yeah. If you will see on each row, number of elements total printed are equal to n. As you can see, spaces are 3 and then a star is printed. So overall 4 elements are printed, correct? Here also 2 spaces and 2 star, 4 elements are printed. Here also and here also, right? And if we go on the number of spaces, we'll see number of spaces are equal to n, that is total number of elements, minus the number of stars. Correct? If you separate the stars from n, you will get the number of spaces, right? Are you getting it? I am not getting responses. Amia, Tanmay, okay. What about the rest? And can you tell me the connection between the stars and the number of rows? Number of stars and number of rows. Okay, let me just repeat it. As you can see, on each line, total number of elements present are equals to n. Correct? Then we need to see how many number of spaces are there. If we remove number of stars from n, we'll get the number of spaces. Are you getting it? Up to now, whatever I said. And the people saying no, they do they got it? Sabyasachi, you were asking the doubt, right? So did you got it? No. Okay, so first of all, tell me where you are stuck, so I'll know from where I should take you to the logic. Which point you missed out? You did say the spaces. Yeah, I said that you need to print the spaces, right? You need to print them. So what is the problem? Okay, fine, guys. I said the spaces. See, what I meant to say it. In this previous question, if you will see, there are spaces on the left as well, correct? Let me finish it now first. There are spaces on the left as well, but the point is, since our on the output screen it is printed from the left, it printed a star. It has to no need to do with the spaces, like whether it print the spaces or not. It just goes to the next line, print 2 stars, again goes to the next line, print 3 stars. Even if there are spaces, we need not to worry about them because they are not that much significant in our output. We are getting the correct output even we are not printing the spaces as well. Got my point? Sabyasachi, just answer quickly so that we can reach the logic of this particular question. Got the point? If you have the doubt, you should reply if I'm saying something, right? Yes, on the right side, we don't consider spaces, but on the left, we do consider the spaces. And now we are trying to observe what is the relation of the spaces with the rows. We said now we need to establish the relation between number of rows and number of columns, right? So we established the connection here. We saw that n is the total number of elements, and if we separate number of stars from it, we'll get our number of spaces. I'm not coding anything, I'm just telling you the number of spaces. So yes, the number of spaces here are equals to 3. Now I want to ask, what is the connection between number of stars and number of rows? So people told me that the connection between number of stars and number of rows is number of stars is equals to number of rows, right? Like you can see, on the first row number of stars is 1, on the second row number of stars are 2, on the third row number of stars are 3, and on the fourth row number of stars are 4. Guys, all of you replied, did you got it? Yeah, that's great. So now it's very simple. What you just need to do is, okay, give me a minute. So initially your loops will start from int I equals to 1, I less than equals to n, I plus plus for the rows. Now first you need to print the spaces, correct? So for that you need to loop. From where it will start? It will start from n. Anyone else with a different logic? It will start from 1 minus 1. It will start from 1 because at least we need to print one line at least. Next, the connection between number of spaces and number of rows was this. Okay, you got these conditions? Satan, you are right. You were right. Like you are saying that from the last. And people who also said, like Sujit said, n, it is also correct. There can be different conditions for it. And I have just mentioned one condition. What we simply need to do is we need to print a space. I printed the space. Then after printing the spaces, yeah, that's correct. One outer loop for rows and the inner loop for the spaces. After printing the spaces, now you print the stars, correct? So SOP star closed SOPLN, and you just closed your loop here. Okay, now let's trace it out and you will get to know what we were up to. Initially I is equals to 1. It entered the loop and j is equals to n is equals to 4. Okay, so 1 is less than equals to 4. It entered the loop. J is equals to 1. J is less than equals to n minus I. We can do for int I equals to and j equals to I minus. Naresh Kumar, you have said me that, like, let me copy it. Mhm. Guys, just a sec. Naresh Kumar has written like int j equals to I minus 1, j is greater than 1, and j minus minus. Is it correct? I want you all to validate it according to a given code. Is it correct or not? And Naresh, why have you written this code for what? For the spaces or for the stars? Doubts? Any doubts? Okay, so as everyone said, like it won't work out. So you need to check this condition. And if you have any doubt, ask that. Okay. So now let's trace this code. We went into the j loop. J is equals to 1 and j is less than equals to n minus I. N is equals to 4 and I is equals to 1. Okay. So it became 3. 1 is less than 3. So it came in and it printed the space. Like you can imagine it as this. Again, it went to the updation statement. It incremented j. J became 2. 2 is less than equals to 3 for sure. Again, it entered and it printed another space. Then it incremented again. It got 3. 3 is less than equal to 3, correct? Again, one space is printed. Okay. And then at last, when it becomes 4, nothing, it won't enter the loop. It will come out. It will go here. Okay. Now it will see k is equals to 1. K is less than equals to I. I value is 1. K's value is also 1. It is fine. It will enter here. It will print a star. Again, it will go to the updation statement. K's value now become 2. Obviously, it is false. It will come out, change the line, and now it will go up and update this I. I become now 2. 2 is less than equals to 4, correct? And the same process repeats. It enters j is equals to 1. Let's n's value is again here 4, but now I value is 2. So it becomes 2. So obviously 1 is less than equals to 2. So one space is printed. Then it increments. Condition is correct for j equals to 2 as well. So another space is printed. When it becomes 3, after another updation. Then it exits the loop and it enters into the next loop. And then 2 stars are printed. Getting the tracing or not? Or should I do it again for you all? Can we optimize this code? Yeah, there can be different ways to optimize it. There can be different ways to even write this code as well. This was the one approach I told you all. I just got one response. What about the others? There are 33 people in the class, so I am expecting at least half of the people got this. Good. Guys, I'm waiting for 2 minutes. Quickly response. It hardly take a second to respond it. Okay. What about others? I have almost got 10 replies. What others are doing? Guys, be quick. We need to learn so many patterns and we are just stuck on 3 patterns right now. Others? What about you? You didn't got it? Or if you didn't got it, let me know where are you stuck. Okay, so the people who didn't got it can reply so that we can go through the code, but not able to trace it out before. So can you please tell me to look the pattern and think to. Yeah, please repeat. Uh, Sanjay Kumar, it was a long process, so you can better be specific, like from where you left, you didn't got it. So I'll start from there. How to start? Yeah, Surya Teja, I'll tell you. Okay, in short, let me tell you all. See, you all need to first of all observe the pattern. It is a bit messy here, so let me tell you here. Yeah, you have been underscores are representing the spaces. Okay. So this is the pattern, right? Now you need to observe what are the things you need to print. Okay. So you observe like we have to first print the spaces. Correct? On a single line, you need to print 4 spaces and then a star. Okay. So now we first need to group the elements which are same so that we can loop them differently and then the elements which are different. Okay. Since there were spaces and stars, so we need 2 loops, one for spaces, one for loop for spaces, and the other loop for stars. Up to now, it is correct why we use 2 for loops and not just one. Then the next thing is how many spaces are getting printed is our next concern. So on the first row, the number of spaces are 4. On the next, it is 3. On the next, it is 2, and on the next, it is 1. If you will see, you can see it is a descending order. So what I told you, in spite of that, you would have even write it as for from where your loop is going to start. Your n was equals to 5. So from where your loop should start? Initially, how many spaces are there? 4. Correct? So you may say that I'll start my loop from n minus 1. Let's suppose. Okay. And up to where it should go? Like it printed the 4th space, 3rd, 2nd, and 1. And when it reached 1, it stopped. Okay. 4, 3, 2. When it reached 2, it stopped. 4, 3. When it reached 3, it stopped. 4 and it stopped. Okay. I'm just telling you about the spaces. So you can see whenever your J reaches I, it stops. Okay. Here I value, your number of row value was 1. So on 1 it stopped. Here your row value was 2. So it stopped here. Here your row value was 3. So it stopped here. And here your row value was 4. So it stopped here. If you didn't got the condition I mentioned here in this regarding the spaces, you may consider this as well. Now you got it. So you thought of the logic for the spaces by observing the pattern you have seen. Okay, you've seen that the first initially the spaces were 4, then it were 3, then it was 2, and then it was 1. Okay, now for the stars also you need to do the same and you will get your answer. Okay, one person got it. What about others? Yeah, that's great. So I hope let's go to our next pattern for the day, and it is you need to print a pyramid. Where is I in this? Mayank Bhaiya, here is I, no? Right? Can you see it? Let me point it out. What's your doubt in it? Actually, I was not writing the whole code, Mayank. I just took this portion of the code given above and I just wrote it in a different manner. Yeah, that's okay. So your next pattern is to print a pyramid. What you need to do is you need to print a pattern like this. Initially, the sessions are being muted for you all because since these sessions are live, so I don't want any kind of disturbance. Once the session goes official or after 1 week, we will ask you to unmute yourself and the session will be interactive as well. Okay, Shyam? Sabyasachi, I don't execute in any ID since these are some very basic questions, and I hope you all, when you all will practice, you will do it on your IDs and you will get the answers as well. Okay. And if there will be a need for the ID, I'll do it as well. We recording this session. You can contact the admin people for this. This will be 1 hour session. It may exceed as well. Okay, so here n is equals to 5 and you need to print this kind of pattern. So can you tell me any kind of observations you all can make out of it? Or can you print it? Let me write for your help that number of rows or R is equals to 5. Number of columns are also equals to yeah, you can expect it. I discussed it yesterday, MV ready. So yes, you can go through that video and you will know that what are the topics we are going to cover. Okay, Sujit got the idea. Good, Sujit. Anyone else? How to print this particular pattern? Okay, so tell me. Do you guys want 2 minutes of time to write the code, or should I start explaining it right away? Guys, at least reply yes, no, so that I may know what should I do. Columns and rows equals to star. Okay. See, the only change I have done here is I have kept extra spaces in between stars. Okay. If I remove all these spaces, you will again get the same code I discussed above. Okay. So the only thing you need to do here is just print a space, extra space after star, and your pyramid will be done. Got it? All of you got it? Quickly reply with a yes or a no. Yeah. So then you didn't got it? You didn't got the first code also? The previous code, this one. This one. Got it. Okay. Okay. So I think no need to discuss. You all will be able to write the code for it. So let's move on the next questions. Our next question is you need to print a pattern like this. Up to now, we were discussing only in terms of stars, and now we need to print some kind of numerals. It is the same pattern like your star one, as you can observe, but you need to print the numerals in it. So, can you tell me how you will print this particular pattern? Just very simple change you need to do, and you will get your pattern. Print the number, row number. Okay. I will print. Okay, most of you have got it. So simply, in spite of printing the stars, we'll just print the row number, that is I. So now I want to ask you all if you all got it or not. So just raise the hands who all got it, so I may know who didn't. All of you quickly do this exercise. I'll know it. Okay, Sham got it. Do it quickly. Okay, okay, okay. Raise your hands. You may find the option on your chat. Raise hand. You can do it. Okay. What about others? There are so many people who didn't raise their hands. So can I assume you all didn't got it? There are just 6 people or 7 people have raised their hands. What about others? Just don't write it on the Zoom chat. Raise your hands. What I'm asking you. You didn't see raise hand option? Go to the participants list and you'll see the option like raise hand. Did you got it? Okay, no worries. What about others? I have received 11 raise hands and 32 people are there. What about the rest? So can I assume that 21 people are not active in this class, 13, 14? Others? Guys, it is very simple code. Can see the hand to raise. Can't see, ma'am. That space one, can we do it using two variables? This one you are saying, Arun, this pattern. Using two variables, yeah, you can do it. Variables are not a matter of concern. Correct? In spite of k here, you could have written j also. No worries. And your two variables will be okay. Okay, I totally have got 14 raise hands. So for sure the other peoples are not active, correct? Guys, what is the problem with you? Are you not getting it or you are not interested to get it? 15. So on my saying one people are going to raise their hand. In the link it is not there, Sithan. Fine. Okay. No worries. So you got this. Now next question is you need to print the pattern like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like the pattern given here. And n is equals to given here is 4. So now tell me what will you print? Initially you print I. Now what will you print here? Sajid has answered it. What about the others? Should I write the code again to visualize you this pattern or you will be able to do it? Okay, print j variable. Yeah, correct. In spite of printing I, you need to print the j. You can see this code. We were printing here star. In spite of printing star, we will print j. Okay, able to do. Okay, that's good. Okay, so the next question is you need to print this is the pattern which you need to print. So now tell me, how will you do it? Got the question? Here n is equals to 4 and you need to print this particular pattern. So yeah, pattern is very similar to the previous one. Let me write it for once. Okay, Kumar answered it. What about the rest? Guys, I want you all to interact in the session because I don't want anyone to be left far behind. So keep interacting via this chat so that I may know you are getting it or not. Okay. The only thing will change was the SOP statement. And Mayank, you are saying row and row plus plus. What will you do here? Mayank, the logic you told me, will it work on this row and this row? Yeah, correct. So modify it a bit and think bit more so that you can reach the logic. Girish also told it. Giri Prakash, sorry. Yeah, it is correct. Next. Guys, only two people have responded to my question. Are you not able to get this particular point? That what you need to do in this pattern so that you may get this particular pattern in this manner. Sujit, I plus j. Okay. Sujit, according to your code, on the first line it will print I plus j. Okay. I was equals to 1, j is also equals to 1. So it will print 2. But initially it needs to print 1. So it goes wrong on the very first line. Okay, Kumar wrote the code. Bodhal got it. J plus 1. MV Reddy, on the first row, your j value is 1 and you are printing j plus 1, correct? So you will again print 2, but you need to print 1. So it is correct. Okay. So guys, it is very simple. Only thing you need to keep in mind is you need to initialize a count variable equals to 1. Yeah. We just need to take this variable and keep on incrementing it. Like I came here, I initialized it here for 1. I just printed out SOP 1. Oh, I count. And after printing it, I just need to increment it. So I incremented it. And then at last here I printed the SOP element. Okay. So initially count value was 1. Let us trace it out. It will be better. I is equals to 1. N value is 4. So obviously it is less. It entered. J is 1. And j is equals to I, that is 1. So it entered. Count value is, what is the value of count here? Guys, respond. Yeah, it is 1. So 1 is printed. Now count is incremented and count becomes 2. It becomes 2. Now, since the condition is false, so it exit the loop, line is changed, but count is already incremented. So when it again enters the loop, now the count value is 2. When the loop runs for the second time, 3, and this way it is printed always. Got this? Two responses, 3. I'll wait for others to respond or at least say no so that I can explain it once again. 5, 6, 7. What about others? I took j is less than or equals to I, correct, Sabyasachi? I took it. Okay. 9, 10. Guys, writing a simple yes take you so long. There are 32 people. I'm expecting they are understanding the code and that's why they are in the class. So they can also reply as well, right? Okay, Tejab wrote the code and that's why he's late. What about others? Okay, so these were the codes that I wanted to discuss for today with you all. And these are the codes you can also, these patterns you will get on our link as well. That we have created on HackerRank, as I mentioned yesterday. Okay, so you all can go there and practice the questions today we have discussed, and any problem you may get, you'll ask it yes tomorrow. Okay, let me share the link with you all. Give me 2 minutes. Okay, I shared the link. You all can register your sign up here and can practice. I shared it, Abhishek. What is the validity of this link? It is valid. You can practice here. Get the recording of today's session. You can ask the admin people. It is live, so yes, you will get it, right? Okay, after practicing, can we download so that we can save for later to review for interviews? Actually, it is going to be there for always, Sham, so you can review it whenever you need it. Okay, so now I would like you all to, I have given you the permission to unmute yourself. One by one, if you have any doubts regarding today's session question, you can ask it. One by one. And you can lower your hands as well. Any people having any doubts?
Madam, after 1 week, you will be unmuting us, right? So that it will be interactive. It may not
Uh,
be possible always type in the chat box so that,
yeah. Sham, I got that point. So yes,
yeah,
we'll ask you to unmute at that particular point of time, and it will
yeah,
be an interactive session at that instance. Okay?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other having any doubt? I guess people are not having the doubts.
Hi, Srishti, this is Abhishek.
Okay, Sabyasachi, have you entered as DS?
Sorry.
Okay, no, continue.
Okay, my question is whether it's a star pattern or a number pattern. Every time we need to check the number of rows and the number of columns.
Yeah,
And if it is right side, space doesn't matter. Whether it is the
yeah,
left side, we need to print the number as well as the spaces also.
yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other doubts, guys? Or should I end the session? Uh, okay, I'm hoping that no doubts are there as of today. So, fine.